This podcast is brought to you by Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Kangaroo Fern is Australia's independent video and podcast management agency with a mission to help individuals and entrepreneurs to start their own podcasts and harness the power of podcasting.
A Kangaroo Fern production.
A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Samut-sari conversation with Mimi to connect with other women who may need someone to talk to around everyday's life issues and challenges, from managing career and household to inner productivity, relationships, and other hot topics. Samut-sari conversation with Mimi.
Hello, Miss Mimi. Hello, everyone. Samut-sari, how are you? I hope you're doing fine and doing great.
Yeah. Thank you, Jet.
I'm happy to be here.
Yes, I'm really happy because Jet also has a radio program for teachers, and I want to ask you some questions about that later on. But at this time, Jet, can you give us a little bit of a background, professional background? Who is Jet and what are you busy with at the moment?
Oh, at the moment, I just got laid off, so I'm now concentrating my energies on being the training and communications manager of JFE Teacher Training Services and JFER Training and Development Services. They're both headed by Mr. Jaimer Espiritu. He's my very good friend, barkada ko. Going back to acting as well, as a character actor, because ayoko maging bida. Walang kukuha sa bidang salbabida.
I know you love acting. You've always told me that. And I know that you've also really done very good roles in the past. And it's something that is your passion. So, Jet, my show is all about people's passion and people's talents and sharing that to other people. So, our topic for today is doing what you love and why are you passionate about the things that you love. So, my first question probably, Jet, is among the many things that you do, which one is your most beloved, or where are you most comfortable at? Is it in acting? Is it in teaching? Is it in consulting? Is it in pursuing your hobbies? What is it that you are most passionate about?
Honestly, it's three. I hope it's not a travesty for everybody. It's in no particular order. It's teaching, acting, and radio hosting. Yes, and it's. I believe I can do all at the same time, but not while I'm driving.
You're also a comedian.
For now, I'm also a driver of my sister. You know why? Because apart from driving her to work, I drive her crazy sometimes.
Yes, you drive her crazy. So sometimes it's good to have a little bit of space between the two of you. So your sister has some breathing space and you also have your own space. So you don't drive each other mad all the time. So Jet, let's talk about your number one, teaching. You mentioned teaching. What made you love teaching, and what is it in teaching that makes you think it's a worthwhile profession?
Are you a podcaster who's getting frustrated because your show results are not in your favor? Are you losing hope because you feel like podcasting doesn't help you generate income? Are you a podcast service provider who is struggling to meet your clients' expectations? If yes, head on to www.podkai.com. Book a call with the founder of Podkai Media, Kai Villanueva, and get clear and proven strategies to earn through podcasting.
The thing that makes me very happy and satisfied is that I get to impart my wisdom and knowledge to others, even older learners. Yes, but in the process, I also learn from my students, even the younger ones, and I learn how to be more humble because I admit I'm not a tech type of person, so I have to catch up.
Yeah.
And
So, who are your students, Jet? When you said the younger ones and the older ones, can you give me a profile of the many types of students that you have?
sure, for the younger students, yeah, they were my students in college and senior high school. As for the older ones, at the seminars, our businesses organize. Yeah, I'm the training and communications manager, so I get to learn a slice of life from each and every participant.
That's right. So, Jet, what's the main difference between teaching younger students and the older students? Are the older students more pasaway, or they easily absorb the information better than the younger ones? What can you tell about those two types of students?
Based on experience, it's more of the older students that are disciplined, forward thinking, and mature. I'm not saying that the younger ones are less competent, but learn how to be more mature and forward thinking. But I understand them where they're coming from, and I also stop and think to tell myself that I have to be a little more patient.
That's right. That's good. So, what is your teaching philosophy for both mature and young learners? Like, what's your style of teaching, and what's your main things that you really hold dear to you as a teacher?
Well, my philosophy is that make teaching fun and interactive, and learn also from your students, their comments, their suggestions, and their advice. Because there are times when I I find difficulty in using technology, but they teach me, and I'm not ashamed of it. I tell everybody that my students are responsible for teaching me, motivating me how to use technology.
Yeah.
Kaya nakakahabol din ako ngayon.
That's right. So, Jet, you talk about your challenges of technology. What can you say about online learning, which is mainly the modality that we don't have a choice but to use it because of the situation around COVID? So, any thoughts around online learning and blended learning?
Well, online and blended learning must be given more research and more thorough thinking because they fail in terms of connectivity, and also they students anxious. So they have to be managed very well. I mean, both modalities, especially online. And we
Yeah.
also have to be more alert and more circumspect when it comes to using technology.
Mm. But do you think that this blended learning, online learning, will stay for a little bit longer? Or do you think this is just a temporary fix at the moment? Something like a band-aid method of learning while we're on COVID?
Your podcast journey starts here. Take the first step on your side. Hustle with us. It starts with a great domain. Get your podcast web host with Beard and Coffee at www.beardandcoffee.com.au or find us at Facebook.
While we're suffering from the pandemic, it's going to stay. But I believe that even after the pandemic, it's going to be adopted as something that is permanent. Yeah, they're adept at technology nowadays, and they find it a little more challenging because our internet connection is poor here in the Philippines, and there are some parents who try to guide their children, but they fail because they don't know how to use the internet.
So I
Perhaps
think,
myself
Jet,
included.
it's a big learning curve for everyone. It's a big learning curve for the little kids that are just new to using technology in the classroom.
Absolutely.
It's a learning curve for the teachers. It's a huge one. And also for the parents, because I've seen something in the news that this kids are just waiting for the parents to do their assignments for them. So it's the parents that are also learning how to use technology before they can even pass on the information and help their children. So I think it's going to be a very, I don't know, I can't find the word for it. It's a very complex thing, this online learning environment that you have at the moment. So there's not one solution, I think, but many solutions that the government should be able to implement to make sure that it works for all. So Jet, I'm
Not a walk in the
thinking,
park.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I would like to go to my next question, Jet, which is your second love, and you mentioned so aside from teaching, you also love acting. What is it about acting that attracts you to this profession, Jet? And can you give us some previous experiences of professional acting that you have done?
Sure. Okay, so I got into acting at a much later age, at the age of 29. Yeah, I just auditioned just for the heck of it. It was for CBN with Jan Manuel and Sheena Halili. Yeah, there was a Holy Week presentation, and I just decided to audition for a role, a gay role, like, and then the assistant director accepted me.
So they feel that you are natural in acting. You're very expressive.
month
You're a very
later, I
expressive
really
person. Yeah. You feel that you can really imbibe the character,
Very
Jet.
much. Yeah. Okay. In my 6 years, although there were some hiatuses, yeah, because I decided to concentrate on being a teacher and offers were not coming. The first 3 roles I had were those of gays. The first was a gay hairdresser. The second was a gay theater director. The third was a gay student turned event organizer. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the fourth, it'll be coming soon. Oh my goodness, it's a paradigm shift. I'll be playing the role of a law enforcer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think you
It's
can
under wraps.
really imbibe the role of a law enforcer? Won't you be intimidated by that role?
I won't, because I follow the law even when I'm driving, and I keep on observing, asking, and I keep on practicing even in front of the mirror.
That's great, Jet. So, do you find that there are enough opportunities for gay roles at the moment? Because it feels like it's always the traditional contrabida and bida, and usually the roles are obviously around the rich versus the poor. So, what can you say about diversity
Yeah,
and
there
inclusion
will
in,
be.
in theater and acting?
What I can say is that I think we need a paradigm shift. It should not be just a protagonist, antagonist, or rich and poor roles. You know, characters should be round characters, they should be 3-dimensional, and we need to feature real people, not just those pin-ups and beefcakes, because they don't really reflect what the real people are. That's why I love indie films, because they don't have the usual plots. They're a little convoluted, but in the end, there's a resolution.
That's
And
right. Yeah.
Sometimes the end is left hanging, but that's fine.
That's true, Jet. So, what's the future like for you in terms of acting? Will this be something that you will be continuing on to do?
I will. I'll soldier on. And I'd like to take on more character roles, just like my idols, Humphrey Bogart, Dennis, and Paquito Diaz, Eddie Garcia, si James Earl Jones, and sino pa tong mga kontrabidang ito? Dustin Hoffman. Yun.
Yes.
Wag lang naman serial killer. Killer ng mga serial, mga oatmeal, pwede pa yun.
But not the serial killer.
Ay, naku. Tatamaan ako ng kidlat.
Yeah. So, Jet, what do you think would be a person's quality enough to take on an acting role? What should you have within you that will make you successful in acting.
So you want to start a podcast? Or perhaps you've already started one, but you're still unclear on how you can actually make this podcasting work. No worries. That's why we're here for you. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate, powered by Kangaroo Fern Media Lab. Join our network. Contact us at info@kangaroofern.com because we're stronger together.
Yeah, based on experience. First is humility, because you should admit that you have to learn a lot. Even if you're seasoned. Ako, hindi pa ako seasoned. 6 years ago. You have to listen to your director. You have to follow his or her vision. You should not be temperamental. You should not impose on the director what you want. You can just offer suggestions if they ask, but if they don't ask you suggestions, then follow what is in the script and take their advice. Second, attend even just one acting workshop, but it's better to attend more. And there's this friend of mine who called me up. He told me that, hey, there's an acting workshop coming. Would you like to attend? Oh, sure. Okay, sabay tayo. Para kumain tayo pagkatapos. And then keep on watching movies and read about entertainment, show business. You should not read about trash. You should not read about destructive things about people. It should be educational, because acting is educational. You get to learn a lot from other actors. And third, my third advice is that you should not overpower other people. You should not dominate them through your acting. You should give and take. And there was a time I acted, nagtititili ako, my goodness. At saka si Glyza De Castro ang ka-eksena ko. Oh my goodness. I was so worried because I thought she was really crying. But it turned out, nag-internalize lang pala siya. I said, sorry Glyza, nasigawan kita. Hindi, nag-internalize ako. Sus Maria.
So those are the behind the scenes, Jet. Those are some of the things that we don't know. So really, it takes a lot of technique. Okay, go on.
The fourth, this is very important. Matutong makisama sa lahat. Huwag kang mabait lang sa director, sa mga co-actors mo. Pati sa mga extra, kailangan mabait ka. Sa mga wardrobe people, yung sa crew. Kasi pag hindi ka mabait sa kanila, susumpain ka nila. Tapos ichichismis ka. At saka nakakahiya ka kahit anong galing mo. Kaya tingnan mo, maraming artista nasipa sa set dahil mga masusungit, mga diva, mga akala mo kung sino, mga prima donna. Kaya yan ang hindi dapat. At saka dapat sumunod ka na, huwag kang maiirita. That's why in the middle, kailangan i-study mo yung script. Tapos mag-practice ka. Kahit sabihin ng iba, mukhang weird ka. You really have to practice your lines. You have to act it out. You should internalize it. Yun ang turo sa amin ng aking acting teacher, si Mr. Tommy Alvarado, yung Eric Morris method.
Yeah. So my takeaway from that, Jet, is your professionalism. So in order for you to become a very good actor, don't just have the talent. You also need to be professional in every sense of the way, including learning from the team itself, not just the director, but everybody around you. So that's a very good tip, Jet. I really like it. And a lot of our young people right now are still finding their feet under the sun. And I'm pretty sure some of them have thought about acting as a potential future career. And speaking of your third love, Jet, you mentioned around the broadcasting sector. So you are also a radio show announcer. Can you give us a little bit of a flavor of what this radio show is all about and what is your role in it?
We are Independent Podcast Network. We are Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. Would you like to hear your brand while supporting quality podcasts? Contact us now at advertise@guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com.
It airs on DWDD on Sundays, from 1 to 2 p.m. And this show is about teachers. May iba't ibang segments po kami. We have segments on gender and awareness development. Yeah. Or rather gender awareness development. We have about extracurricular activities, ROTC, culture, media and info literacy, guidance counseling, sa akin language, at saka teaching strategies at iba pa.
Yeah,
Ako yung isa sa mga senior host.
that's right. So how long have you been doing this radio show, Jet, for teachers?
5 years.
5 years, and
Start
still
up as
loving
guest.
it.
Ayun, nasalang. Yeah, very much.
That's
mga
right.
friends ko yung mga host, mga barkada ko yun.
That's right. So, do you consider yourself so sikat now because of the many people that
really.
listen to your show?
Not really. I'm just an average Joe. And if ever na maging mas sikat ako, I'll think of myself as an average Joe. Kahit na nagda-drive ako, nagpapahangin lang ako ng gulong o sumasakay ako sa bus, sa kiber ko. Mereseng makakita maraming tao sa akin. Basta importante, hindi ko nilalagay sa ulo ko. Yeah, because my mom would tell me, pag nagmayabang ka, sabi ng nanay ko, mayabang ha, be good to everybody. Kahit sa radio, yun, nagbibigayan kami. Hindi kami nagsasapawan. Isa ako sa mga bunso. Pag pinagsasabihan ako, it's fine with me. I know they care a lot.
Yeah. So, Jet, you mentioned the qualities of a good actor. What are the qualities that make a good radio announcer?
Yeah, based on experience. First, you have to have the confidence. Yeah. Because if you're not confident, how could you be able to host a radio show? Second, you have to keep on learning and reading. Observe other broadcasters. Take note of their style. Don't imitate the bad ones. Just imitate the good ones. Third, keep on reading. Because what you say reflects what you read. Fourth, you must be on time, you must be professional, and you must be willing to take the backstage because minsan ako yung floor director pag marami na kami. Sabi ko, okay lang, ako floor director nyo. Sige. At saka wag ka malilate. Mortal sin yun. And ngayon, sa new normal, if you pre-record your episode, you really have to make it good. Walang glitches. Minsan nagka-glitch ako, Diyos ko po. Ilang araw ako na-depress.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the reality, Jet. That's the reality. Yeah.
Yeah. And
So what do you think is the future of what do you think is the future of your show? What's the show's plan? Is it more variety? Is it better hosts? Is it more people to listen to you? What's the plan for the show?
Well, it's more people listening to us, watching us. Yeah, and we plan to stick to our current segments. In fact, we have new segments about youth leadership. We also have yung sa ROTC, kaya nakadagdag yun. At saka meron about culture. And we intend to get more guests. In fact, the recent guest I had, it was the second time, Mr. Frederick Perez of Xavier School. Yeah. Tapos yung ibang mga kaibigan ko from LaSalle, feature ko rin yan because I want to help them. Yeah, it's my way of paying utang na loob also.
That's right. So being on Radio Jet is very good because you can network and you can use that as a platform, not just to inform, but really to educate. So you are right in saying that it should be a medium that is used responsibly. So it starts with the host by being confident, by being professional, by trying to be true and not really pretending to be somebody they're not, because it comes across. People can really detect it. People can tell if you are really serving them or not. So my idea of being on radio is really to serve. Just like my program here, my podcast, it's all about service to information. It's not really about just random things, but making sure people get something good out of it. So I'm really loving what you have done, Jet, in your professional life.
Yeah,
You've managed to mix and match your passions, and you
yeah,
managed to do good in each one of them. So
I try.
final advice, Jet, for our younger audience, and for people that are probably more mature but haven't really thought about what they want to do. How can they tap into their talents, and how can they tap into their intelligences and passions like yourself in order to find that something that's worthwhile for them to do?
Yeah, my advice is that you keep on learning, you keep on attending free webinars, watch YouTube videos. For example, if you know how to cook and people praise your cooking and they tell you that you're good at it and advise you to take advanced courses, go for it. Or even if it's just about entertainment, take workshops. You should never be close-minded because baka magka-dementia ka, huli na ang lahat.
That's right.
And you also have to, but don't forget to make others happy.
So something like live the life of service. That will
That's
be
true.
the backbone of being good, and by being good, good things will come back to you, right? So
That's
just be
right.
consistent,
Yeah.
stay good, and everything else will follow. So Jet, I
That's
really
right. And avoid
enjoyed.
gossip.
I avoid gossip. No, we don't gossip here in Samut Sari. We only talk about
That's good.
big
Yeah,
positive
because
things.
if there's somebody better than you, don't ruin other people.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And give other people the chance to shine as well. I mean, there's always space for everyone. Not one single person
Everyone.
dominates a skill or a YouTube channel or a profession. Everybody can partake in that, and I think that's the beauty
That's
of
true.
multi-skilled people like you, Jet. You can help others, inspire others, and at the same time, you're doing what you really, really, really love. So, Jet, I'm so proud of you, and I'm so proud
Thank
of
you so
what you've
much.
achieved. And I'm really happy that even if you say that you don't have enough opportunities right now, it seems to be that you're still busy, and that you're making wise use of your time. And the thing that will really linger to me is what you said about keep learning, keep striving, and keep moving. Oh, what is that, Jet? Show me what that is and
Mga
tell me
notes
what that
ko.
is.
This one is for JFE and JFur. Pag minutes of the meeting, I take notes.
Oh, so you're doing minute taking as
And
well.
yeah, and this one, it's for health insurance, and I'm learning the ropes.
Oh,
Yeah,
now you're
with the
telling
help
me
of my friends.
you're
That's why I
telling me
have this
that's another
notebook.
area. That's another area
Keep on
that you want to venture in.
Yeah, and it's never possible as long as you're humble and you're determined to learn. Nothing is impossible. If you have insecurities, that's normal. I've learned that so many times. It's normal. That's why I understand because nobody is totally secure.
Hmm. Yeah, that's
Kahit
right.
mayaman
Nobody's
ka
totally
pa,
secure.
may insecurity ka pa rin.
Yeah,
Mm,
maybe today you're mayaman, tomorrow you never know what's gonna happen to you. So yaman is just a very arbitrary thing.
that's
Okay,
right.
Beth, any final words to share to our viewers and listeners right now before we end the program?
Sure. Okay. For the viewers, please remember that talent is meant to be shared. It's not meant to be hoarded. And if somebody is better than you, you're be proud of him or her. And be a cheerleader. Don't be a destroyer.
That's right.
Don't be a muckrat.
That's right. Yeah. That's very good, Jet. I really appreciate you. So, Jet, thank you again very much for being with me today. Time is short, I know, but there will always be a future
Yeah.
opportunity for us to be together. So,
Sure.
I would like to formally close the show now, Jet. So I would like to invite the listeners, if they have stories or topics that they wish to feature in the show, they can reach out to me. Guys, reach out to me via my email, mimi@dinosocial.com. Samutsari is a member of the Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate. You can also reach out to me by Facebook or by my Twitter account. And obviously, I would like to ask you to like and subscribe to the shows of the Guerrilla Podcast programs and, of course, to my YouTube channel.
I'll take note
Thank
of
you,
that.
Jet.
Guerrilla Podcast. Thank you too.
Yeah, thank you, Jet. Goodbye, and goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Take care. And I love you all.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to visit our website at www.guerrillapodcastsyndicate.com, where you can subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. You can also join the conversation with Guerrillas RV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Please consider on making a donation to help us keep making the podcast you love. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. A Guerrilla Podcast Syndicate production.